Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our Meal Solution Mondays class for today. My name is Charlotte Scheid and I'm one of the Giant Company Dietitians. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. Our recipe for today is because it is Cinco de Mayo and we are going to be making a yummy beef enchilada casserole for today. So again, happy Cinco de Mayo. Just wanted to review just a little bit of fun facts about Cinco de Mayo. So of course, it is observed today, May 5th. So it's a holiday that celebrates the Mexican Army's victory over France at the Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862. So of course, celebrations include parades, music, dancing, and traditional food, which of course, one of my favorites. So a few popular Cinco de Mayo foods, we have Mexican street corn, which is a combination of mayonnaise, sour cream sauce with cheese, lime, and cilantro. Guacamole, which of course I think is a lot of people's favorite, is a common one. Carnitas, which is a pork dish, fish tacos, and then mole poblano, which is a thick and savory sauce made from chili peppers, chocolate, and spices. So just to name a few of those Cinco de Mayo foods, but of course enchilada is also another popular one. So hopefully everybody's celebrating Cinco de Mayo today in their own way, but hopefully with some fun foods. So these are, if you are celebrating the holiday for today, these are some products in store to definitely pick up to celebrate. So we have our own brand chunky guacamole. We have mild and medium version, but super yummy. And of course, you don't just have to eat it today, you can eat it throughout the year. So that's a good one. We have our Nature's Promise blue corn tortilla chips, which do get one guiding star. These just have a really great taste and of course, great color. Cilantro is a popular flavor to add to many different types of dishes. And of course, cilantro is, I think, either a hit or miss with everyone, but I always like cilantro on a lot of different things. We have our mango salsa, our minced garlic, which makes it easy to incorporate into a lot of different dishes because it's already minced. You don't have to worry about the flavor getting on your fingers, but I always like that in my refrigerator. That's kind of one of my refrigerator staples. We have our 90-second Spanish rice. You just pop it in the microwave for about 90 seconds and then you're ready to go with that one. And fajita blend, in a recipe that I made last week, I used the fajita blend, which is in the produce pre-cut section, and it makes it easy to make any type of fajita that you want. So if you are celebrating today and you want to go to the store and pick up some items, definitely check these items out if you have not already done so before. So this is our recipe for today. So we are going to be making a beef enchilada casserole. This recipe gets 3 guiding stars, and I think I forgot to mention this in the beginning of class, and I apologize. If you do have a question that you would like to ask about the recipe or anything like that, please use the Q&A function of today's webinar. So you can probably see that function, or just use the Q&A function, ask a question, and I will, get to that throughout. Okay. So again, please use the Q&A function if you do have a question for today. Okay, so going back to the beef enchilada casserole. So this recipe does get 3 guiding stars. So we know that that means that it has a lot of different nutritional benefits because our guiding star program, the more stars that something, a recipe or product has, the more nutritionally beneficial it is. So for this one, we're going to be making and creating our own enchilada sauce. So this incorporates some tomato sauce, chili powder. I'm going to add a little bit of flour, paprika, and cumin. Now before class, and I'll show you a picture of this at the end, I already pre-cooked a little bit. I shredded the zucchini and patted it down to get excess of water out. So I added the zucchini, you can really do 92% lean or more, but I incorporated the zucchini, lean ground beef, and also a package of our green pepper and onion. So 16-ounce package of that. So I already kind of cooked that down, and I'll show you a picture of what that looked like in the beginning. But then we're going to be adding some black beans, frozen corn as our beef mixture. And then we're going to be layering with some corn tortillas and cheddar cheese, the beef mixture, and then enchilada sauce. So I always like a good casserole meal because you can use it throughout the week. But of course for today, because it is Cinco de Mayo. So this recipe, if you are concerned about sodium for a recipe, this has pretty low in sodium for for a casserole. It has 23 grams of protein and then a really good source of fiber too, so help you to feel, of course, fuller longer. But again, this is our recipe, gets 3 guiding stars, beef enchilada casserole, that how we're going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo for today. So I also wanted to review, because I was like nutrition, I was a dietitian, some nutrition facts of beef. So this is for a 3-ounce serving, which really just, fits in the size of your palm. So you don't really need a whole lot to get a lot of different nutritional benefit. So for a 3-ounce serving, has vitamin B12. So actually has over 100% of your daily value that you need per day. So this helps to give you energy, has selenium in it, almost half of the percentage daily value that you need. So this helps to protect cells from damage, has zinc, has over 50% daily value. This helps with a healthy immune system, which I always appreciate. For protein, about half. And of course, protein is important for muscle growth. And then niacin, about 30%. So niacin is important for energy production and metabolism. So those are just some of the many nutrients of beef. So beef, of course, is a very important thing if you would like to incorporate into your diet, but a lot of different nutritional benefits with that. So I just wanted to tell you about a little bit of the benefits. Okay, so this is a picture that I talked about of what my skillet looked like or before I cooked it. So this is again is a 16-ounce package of a chopped onions and peppers. So I put a whole package in of that, 1 pound of 92% lean ground beef. And then I shredded zucchini, just one, and I patted it down dry just to get out like that excessive, amount of liquid, just so that casserole doesn't become too much liquid. I already have it here and it's cooked down, but we're going to be adding even more stuff to that beef mixture. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we will get started with making our beef enchilada casserole. Okay. Actually, let me go to the Q&A. There's just some questions briefly. Okay, so someone said, can you use turkey? You can absolutely use ground turkey instead of ground beef. Is there anything you would use in place of the zucchini? So I'm trying to think. I would probably, let me think more about that. Or you could probably, if you don't like zucchini, I feel like you can put, any different kind of vegetable that you would like in it, or you could just eliminate it. Okay, so let's get started with the recipe. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is make our enchilada sauce. So I have my microwavable safe dish right here. So I'm going to add in, so I have 1 can of tomato sauce, so 15 ounces, no salt added. So of course, if sodium is a concern to you, this would be a good option. So I'm going to just put in the whole can. I'm also going to add in 2 tablespoons of chili powder. So I just have here, just our brand chili powder. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons. Actually, let me turn this skillet up. Well, the other thing I need to do is preheat the oven to 375. So let me go do that as well. All right, so I'm just going to add in 2 tablespoons of chili powder. This is a better angle. There we go. All right, so 2 tablespoons. The powders gave me difficulty today. Okay, so we have 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Just get this off the counter. I'm going to put in some other ones. All right, so 2 tablespoons of chili powder, also 1 tablespoon of flour, which I have right here. Just helps it to become a little bit more thick. Also 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, or you could use regular paprika as well. Smoked just gives a little bit more of a bold flavor. So we're going to add in 2 teaspoons. So 1 and 2. I'm also going to add in some cumin. So again, we're just making our own homemade enchilada sauce. So I did 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, and I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of cumin. Which is a pretty popular one in these types of dishes. Okay, so I'm just going to whisk this a little bit. I already hear this sizzling. We're gonna pop this in the microwave or put it in the microwave for about 2 or 3 minutes or so. As you can see here, just trying to combine everything. So we're just trying to warm this up a little bit in the microwave and have those flavors combine. All right, so I'm gonna just put this in the microwave for about 2 minutes. All right, now I'll be right back. All right, so that is in the microwave for 2 minutes. So let me bring over my casserole dish a while. So again, in my skillet, I already have cooked down 1 pound of 92% lean ground beef, 1 zucchini that I shredded, and then this packet of chopped onions and peppers. So you can put in the whole package of that one, which is nice because it's already pre-cut, and I did thaw it as well. It's just if you're curious. All right, so let me put this on the counter over here. Okay, so what I'm going to add in, so 1 can of no salt added black beans already drained and rinsed. So I'm going to add in a can of beans, nice protein and fiber. Also going to add in 8 ounces of corn. So this is frozen corn that I already thawed in the refrigerator. And really what you want to do is, so the ground beef is already cooked with everything else. So we're just trying to warm up all these other ingredients. And we're also going to do some of our enchilada sauce as well. Once it's done, we're gonna put it in there. Okay, so let's see. So I'm just trying to mix this. Tells our enchilada sauce is about another 20 seconds. All right. So let me, so about another 10 seconds. All right. Great, so there we go. Let me get this. So I'm going to set this on my baking pad over here. Take my whisk, just kind of mix it again. We're going to put just a little bit in our skillet. Let me mix up a little bit. All right, my scooper, here it is. I'm just going to do about 1/2 cup in here. Put a little bit more. And just kind of mixing it up. And just trying to get that corn and everything to warm up. All right. I think I'm going to turn this heat up just a little bit. Turn this up. Okay, so let me set this over here. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to just put some cooking spice. This is my kind of deep dish casserole. So I'm gonna put some cooking spray on here. Oops. And then we're going to put some sauce at the very bottom. Just so it's layers. I'm just gonna take a spoon and kind of spread it out. So that it goes over the very bottom. Good, so I can hear my skillet sizzling, so I know that that corn is warming up. Here we go. So we have our sauce on the bottom. And then our next layer is going to be our corn tortillas. Actually, let me give this another stir. Okay, how that's warming up. So our next layer is going to be our corn tortillas. So these are just the little ones that I have here. So that's going to be our next layer before we put on the beef mixture. So you probably need maybe like, it's probably 9 by 13 casserole dish. So we probably need about 6 per layer. Okay. Give this a stir. All right. I think for the most part, that looks like it's pretty well heated. So I'm going to add a layer of our beef mixture right on top, just evenly. I'm gonna do about a third of this in here. And then after this, we're gonna add some shredded cheddar cheese. Let's do one more scoop. All right, so the shredded cheddar cheese that I'm using is just our brand sharp cheddar cheese. I'm gonna do a layer right on top. What's my oven doing? About at 200. And then we're gonna repeat the layers 2 more times. Undo layer of sauce right on top. Try to use my spoon to smooth it out a little bit. Of course, that's not to be perfect. Just trying to do somewhat of a layer. All right, we're gonna add the corn tortillas. And the beef mixture. So when this is all done, we're gonna cook it in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes, or just till kind of it's the sides are have bubbles or boiling a little bit. All right, so that looks good. We're going to do the cheese, and then we'll do one more layer. So the nice thing about when you do bake this and it's done, you can also top it with some tomato and cilantro. So we talked about cilantro being one of those flavors for Cinco de Mayo. Cilantro's a good one. Even if you want to do a side of guacamole, that you could do that as well. All right. I'm gonna do sauce. Make sure I get the rest. This would be our last layer. Scrape it from the bottom. All right, let me use my spoon again. All right, let's do our quarter tortillas. So again, 6. We're going to use the rest of our beef. And so I said that this is a deep dish kind of casserole, but you could just use a regular one too. Um, Probably even a little bit too big for this recipe. Just get all this beef out. One scoop. And then we'll do our cheese. So at 375 then, we're gonna bake it for 30 to 35 minutes and then let it stand for about 10. And then you can do additional toppings like diced tomatoes and cilantro. And again, if you want to do some guacamole, whatever you like. Just use up the rest of this cheese. So this recipe, this is an 8-ounce bag, and I pretty much used all of it. All right. So this is our beef enchilada casserole. So you can see not too hard, not too hard to bake. But again, we're going to put it in the oven at 375 for 30 to 35 minutes. So I definitely will send a picture out after of what it looks like. So let me go into Q&A. All right. And let me think, I know a lot of you have questions about like everybody substitute for zucchini. Let me think a little bit more about that. But I guess you could also use, I'm gonna say like maybe like a yellow squash, but that's probably not going to do the trick. So let me think more about that. And so someone says, is there a decent substitute for cumin or should I just admit that? I think if you probably don't like cumin, I'm trying to think what would be a good substitute for that. I feel like if you don't like that, maybe just omit it. But that's a good question. And someone said you can possibly substitute frozen spinach for zucchini. I think you definitely try that. And yes, pat dry it. That's a good question. And could you use cornstarch in place of the flour? I think that you could try to use the cornstarch and see how that will turn out. And let's see. All right. Oh, and someone said about substituting, you could definitely substitute, or what could be a substitute for beef? And they suggested lentils. And I think that would be a great one if you are vegan, vegetarian. If you don't like beef, you can definitely, try lentils, beans, and that type of thing. I think that would work out. And then, oh, and then somebody also suggested in a substitute for zucchini, you could also try eggplant. Sometimes I think eggplant, when you cook it, definitely has a little bit of a different texture, but I would say, yeah, you could definitely go for it, and try that. So someone said how much ground beef was used? It was a pound of 92% lean ground beef. And yes, you can use ground turkey instead of the beef. Oh, right. Oh, coriander for cumin. Someone suggested that. And also someone suggested for a substitute for zucchini, some grated carrot. You can certainly try that. And someone else suggested a substitute for cumin being coriander. So those are all good suggestions for substitutes. Oh, and there's my oven. So it's already preheated, but what I'm going to do is put this in the oven at 375 for about 30 to 35 minutes. And then once it's done or it's boiling around the edges, I'll pull it out and let it stand for about 10 minutes or so. And then I'm going to top it with a little bit of tomato and cilantro. And then we'll definitely send out a picture.